Welcome back. This week we're going to go with Lance Egan's Rainbow Warrior. This is a great nymph pattern, a great overall pattern. A really good, obviously, attractor pattern. For some reason, you know, the light reflection, whatever it may be, this thing just picks up fish no matter where you're at. Take it out to the moat, take it out to, you know, freestone, take it out to a stock stream. It doesn't matter, it catches fish everywhere. So we're going to go ahead and tie this one real quick, walk you through this one, and let me see here, get zoomed in. I don't know where I was going with that. I thought my mind's kind of all over the place here. To start on this one, this is a size 12. You can do this 12 to 18, bigger if you want to. You can go with a 10. I gotta find some lead wire real quick. 20 thousandths, not what I'm after. Here we go. 15 thousandths lead wire. As always, this isn't really for the weight. This is to keep the bead in place. So I got 15 thousandths. I'm gonna probably give it about 7 wraps. Go ahead and spin that off. I know I'm wasting a ton here, but oh well. So this is a 7/64, just regular silver bead. I like doing these with the killer Caddis beads as well. And then I'm just going to go over top of this with the red thread just to get everything secured in place. And I'm going to work my way to the back. Just go slightly past where the barb of the hook is. I'm going to take about 4 or 5 fibers from a pheasant tail, and this is going to be just the tail portion. When you pull these off, pull this out to a 90 and then pick that out. If you don't, your fibers wind up being a little uneven. So this really helps keeping your fibers even, keeping consistency on your flies. And I'm going to measure this out just a little bit shorter than the overall length of the hook. I don't like the tails getting too long on these. You know, the pheasant tails, the Baetis nymphs, anytime I'm using these fibers, I don't like the tails getting too awful long. So I tend to keep those on the shorter side, and then all I'm going to do is just wrap that excess material up to where I left off with my lead wire. That way I won't have a bump, I'll have a nice seamless transition. And the next thing that we're going to tie in here, this is just Mirage Tinsel in Opal. And this is great for flashbacks. This is great for, you know, covering wing cases, whatever it may be. Lateral lines on streamers, it's very good material. But for the Rainbow Warrior especially, this is a really versatile, easy material to work with. If you want to, you can change up your color on your thread so it doesn't, you know, I mean, this isn't going to cover up your red completely, but I really don't see it making a huge difference, quite honestly. Before I do this, before I wrap this, and I do this with a lot of my tinsel bodied flies, is I'm just going to touch this up with some zap. And that way I get a tooth or something in there. I'm not going to worry about it getting one and done on fish, or being a one and done. And then I'm just going to wrap this all the way up. You can take it all the way up to the front if you want. Just one wrap right over top of the next, making sure that things stay nice and even for you. And I'm going to take this past where I'm actually going to have it stop, and I'm just going to tie this in. Now, if you want to, you can use a separate section of this for a flashback. Cover this up with some red wraps, make sure that that's going to be nice and clean. I really don't like how that's sitting, so I'm going to undo this. I'm going to undo this, and I'm just going to cut this off. I'm going to retie it in so it's nice and straight, sitting over the top how I want it. So I'm just going to tuck this in right next to my bead, make sure that it's running parallel right down the line of my hook, and then just have that sitting right there. If you want to, like I said, you can fold it over and then work it back. It just seems a little bit easier for me to do it this way, so that's the way I tend to go with it. And then what I'm going to do is form a quick dubbing loop here. I like the dubbing loops. You can just finger dub this if you want, entirely up to you, but I like the dubbing loops personally. And then all we're going to do is just take some, it's probably upside down, some South Scud, and this is just the rainbow color. And then I'm just going to form a nice little taper out of this, and throw this right in my loop. And I'm not going to really spin this tight. I want this to be nice and picky. I want it to kind of fill out my thorax a little bit. So I'm just going to take that, stop there, and I'm going to go right around covering up my red thread. Like you can see, this is, I didn't half hitch. I was wondering why I was getting red covering everything up. Didn't half hitch. There we go. I think it's still going to make a mess on me. No, we're alright. So like I said, we're just going to take this right through here, make this nice and picky. I like it being, you know, I like a nice transition between the body and the actual thorax, if you will. So I'm just going to tie this off now. And if you want to build this up, you can throw some pheasant tail fibers in there and go right over top of that. I'm just going to take this flashback section, I'm going to butt it right up against the bead and tie this in. If you want, you can go a little bit bigger than the medium. You could probably go up to a large if you want a bigger flashback section. I'm just going to use this same size here, and then tie that off, lift this up, go right behind my bead again, and trim that. Now I want a nice distinct red line between my bead and the dubbing, so I'm going to whip finish this a few extra times than I normally would with a typical nymph. And I'm going to call that good right there. Now if you want to here, you can go through with the UV and touch that up and hit it with the torch if you want. I don't really find it too necessary. It seems to be pretty secure there. The most that I'll do is I'll take maybe some zap or whatever it may be and just dab it, but for the most part I found that it's pretty durable as it sits right there. But that is it. That is Lance Egan's Rainbow Warrior. Like I said, a very effective pattern, great just about in any water system, where just about any river system really. It's a great overall pattern. hopefully this helps out a little bit. I know I kind of stumbled through that one a little bit with the thread all over the place and everything, but if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them with me and I'll get back to you. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next fly.